Hey guys, thanks for tuning in this video. Today I'm going to be sharing my 2-month update as I've been learning code for exactly 2 months. If you're new to this channel, my name is David Justice and I've started this channel to record my journey and share what I've learned in my project as I learn to become a web developer. I've been coding since early May, and in my last video I shared my 1-month review. In this video I'm going to be sharing my 2-month review. Over the past few weeks, I've actually learned quite a bit. I moved down the JavaScript pathway, which is broken down in 5 big sections, and each section has anywhere from 15 to 40 lessons. So the first lesson or course was intermediate HTML and CSS, and I actually learned quite a bit in there. Some of those concepts I already learned because in the foundations course, when I got stuck, I did a lot of research, and some of these concepts I already learned, but some of them are pretty new. And the one other projects was the sign up form, and another project was the admin dashboard, which I was really nervous about going into it. And by the time I got to the project, I learned so much in this part of the JavaScript pathway. It was actually pretty easy. It just took about a day or two to do. And when I say a day or two, it doesn't mean I was doing it all day. It might just be a couple hours. But it was definitely a fun project because I really felt like I could see my CSS skills coming into fruition. So I'll be sharing both of those projects at the end. I also worked on a personal project, which I wanted to clone another website like I did the Google one. This one I think is more impressive. It had a lot more going into it, and I've been working over time. It's not exact. I kind of put my own twist to it, but it looks pretty cool. I think it's a really cool web page to look at. So I'll be sharing that as well. As far as some things that I've learned, I've also been after the intermediate in HTML, intermediate HTML and CSS. I've also moved on to JavaScript, which again in the foundation course, it does go over the basics of it, and it seems like a lot, but they really dive in deep for some pretty cool concepts in JavaScript. So I've been learning about different ways to organize your code. You can't just be, writing random lines of code. Typically in real world programming, you structure your code in a certain way, and there's different ways that you can do that. One way, the first way we learned about is object constructors, and then now I'm looking into factory functions and ES6 modules. So I still don't really understand ES6 modules yet. I'm learning that now. But I'm really actively digging into object constructors and factory functions. Object constructors and factory functions allow you to create multiple objects that are the same type. For instance, a car. Each car has a brand, a year, a color, a model. And instead of writing the same code a billion times of how to build that object, you can just write it one time and then call that function or object constructor or factory function to build another car. I'm gonna share in the next video a little bit more in depth those two concepts because I think they're really cool to learn. But that's what I've been actively learning this week or two, really diving in deep into organizing my code. So JavaScript is definitely the more difficult thing for me. I think HTML and CSS, I'm not a pro by any means, but I'm definitely getting the concepts. And I can Google things right away if I don't understand it, and I can move on. With JavaScript, it takes me a little longer to get certain concepts, so slow down my pace. But I do think it's more impressive, and I can't wait to see how fast I grow. So I have my iPad here, but before I show you guys my projects, I just want to give some context. So the last month I've also found an app called Working Copy, which allows me to use Git and GitHub, just pushing, committing, pulling, seeing my progress. And I really love it because before I wasn't using it. And now I can see what I've changed, the progress, commit, and again, just get some practice in. So that's what I've been using. I also use an environment or text editor called Coder. That's also a good one, but it doesn't allow me to commit. So I really been like a Working Copy, and I'll do a review of that app probably in the next week. So the first project I'm going to show you guys is a sign up form I created. I'm hosting it on GitHub, so it is live on here for people to see. And here it is. So they gave us a little layout to kind of copy, and I chose to pretty much make it a basketball club sign up. So the top it says, are you a basketball enthusiast? Are you looking to test your skills and compete? Sign up today to join our exclusive ballers club, blah, 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 blah. And you can sign up to do that. And these are all worked on using certain HTML input types. So the password one's created a password and da da da. There's a button on here that creates it, and this not linked to any backend or any type of database, so it doesn't do anything. But the layout pretty good. If you click these links down here, they'll go to the artist of the image. So this is an icon right here, so it was pretty good. It's again not really responsive. I'm still working on it. So some of it is, but some of them isn't. But this was a cool project for me to do. So this next project is the admin dashboard. Again, I was very nervous because I could tell it's going to be a lot of work. But again, it took me, I would say if you did it one day, probably 70 hours. But I did this over 2-3 days. And I have to say, you had to copy this layout and you could put your own twist to it. I tried to make mine look as close as the original and just change the images and the text. And I have to say, I'm very impressed. So here's my admin dashboard. I don't know if you guys can see this. But I pretty much use Flexbox and grids, and there's a bunch of them on here for me to make this admin dashboard. There's no JavaScript attached to this, so there's no functionality of this, but I was very impressed with how I was able to get this done pretty quickly, and honestly it wasn't hard. I didn't really have any delays or anything. It just kind of took me some time to do. And as you guys can see, there's there's a sidebar, side navigation, there's an input text up here. You can type in that if you want. There's buttons at the top for you to upload things. There's your profile icon, which I had put several places, other icons, and there's my projects right here. And so yeah, that was the admin project. So this last project I want to show is my second website clone. So in the last video I showed you guys the Google clone. I wanted to do another one, but amp up the difficulty. So I decided to pick a website that I think was definitely difficult and more complex, but not using skills that I don't know yet. So I decided to clone the Carvana site, and which, if you're not familiar with Carvana, you pretty much can have them, you could buy a car over your phone and they'll deliver to you, or you can go to their little vending machine car thing. So I decided to start building it. It is a huge web page, so I'm taking my time doing it because I really want to keep learning. It's more just on the side for me to practice my skills. But yeah, here it is. So here's my site. At the top, there's a nav bar, which if you highlight it, it turns a light blue. This one up here on the website it had a drop down, which I haven't created yet. And then I have the logo right here, and these highlight the other blue as well. And then this highlights black. I have some icons here for you to, pick the type of car. There's an input here with some placeholders. And then there's another section where you can get, pre-qualified or select car. And then I also have it where these are vehicles that are, on sale or just being shouted out. So I couldn't obviously get the vehicles that they have. So I went Carvana and found some icons and removed the backgrounds. And then had to make a circle, cut it off, use an overflow, and then put the later icons over. So I learned about Z-index, and just, positioning, whether it's relative or absolute or stat. I think it's static. So this was cool because I was using position. And when you hover over them, you can't really see it, but there's a shadow on the back. And then if you guys are wondering, this green, I do this when I'm building an app. It helps me see where the sections are. So I'm still building this. This is the last section I built, so I left the green there. See the little shout out. And then it has a bunch of vehicles that you can browse by make and model, browse by style, and then you can browse by the location. So I built this all from scratch. Again, there is no like tutorial or anything on this. I kind of just was looking at the Carvana site and trying to match it. I don't like this part right here. I gotta shrink these down a little bit, but other than that, I think it looks pretty good. So those are my 3 projects. I've worked on some little ones, but some of my projects, if I'm being honest, I just kind of tinker with things. I don't really make them look that pretty, just to make sure I'm getting certain concepts. Moving on this month, I have to work on a library, a to-do list, a battleship game, and some other things. I'm also going to keep working on that Carvana site, so any updates I'll also let you guys know as well. So those are my 3 projects for this past month. I worked on little ones here and there that I did not show because I'm just practicing a certain skill or lesson, not necessarily making them look good. Going forward, I believe I'm supposed to create a basic library, a to-do list, the battleship game, and tic-tac-toe. I'm pretty nervous about those, so I'll definitely share those as well. I also want to go back eventually and make all of my projects responsive. Some of them are accidentally responsive, and as I'm learning about certain tools to build responsive sites, I know some of them are accidental. But a lot of them aren't really responsive at all, and I really want to go back if I'm going to keep them on my GitHub and make them all responsive. So that's also something I want to eventually do. I think how I feel this month is that things have definitely got more difficult. I've gotten a lot more frustrated at times, but I definitely can see that I'm learning at a really good pace. So I'm honestly happy where I am. I think hopefully I start learning a little bit faster in JavaScript, and I can't wait to show you guys what I'm learning in the next video. If you guys are learning, or if you guys are curious to watch me and my journey, I would love if you guys subscribe, and feel free to comment and like my videos, and just give me feedback to see what you guys think. If you were, that's the end of this video. 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 If you are looking to become a developer as well, or you just would like to see my progress or learn with me, feel free to subscribe. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to comment and like some of my videos if you like them. If you don't like them, just like, I don't really care. So that's the end of this video. If you guys are looking to become a web developer as well, or you just want to check out my journey and see what I'm learning, feel free to subscribe. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to comment. I'm really looking for feedback to see what you guys want to see and hear about my journey. And I hope you guys will come along with me. So otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.